Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurna Suha binti Ghazali. Today I would like to present about the Smart UITM Food Bank System. Okay, now I will explain the research background of this project. Food Bank UITM Machang is a food aid platform for students who are less able in terms of food expenses. This is an initiative of the Ministry of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs to collect food produce from retail or restaurant so that it can be distributed to those who are eligible to receive it. The benefit of Food Bank UITM Machang are aimed at alleviating the impact of the rising cost of living and saving on the food purchase expenses among students. Okay, the implementation of this program can be examined starting with the collection of the certain food or product. Then it will be distributed to students. The list of students eligible to receive this assistance will be selected by the university itself based on the student records. Usually, the implementation of Food Bank UITM get external sponsorship. In turn, the implementation initiative of this program also encourage the involvement of students as volunteers who help their friends who are in distress. In addition, this program will be managed by the UITM Machang Student Representative Council. For the problem statement, we have few problem statement in this current food bank system. Okay, first of all, the current food bank system does not have a systematic food bank system, food stock system. This is because there is still a large stock of food, but it has reached the expiration date, so it had to be discarded. Okay, next, students also do not have an official platform to access this food aid from the food bank every time the management distribute food. This is because students who need this help do not have the opportunity to take food aid. Okay, next, it also make it difficult for donors to donate our food as they have to notify management via email in advance. Okay, furthermore, there is no system for management to record up-to-date data such as the amount of food that donors have distributed and the number of donations they receive from other sources. Okay, the last one is a large number of food campaigns do not reach the required food stock from the food donation. For example, the YaPEIM Food Bank 2.0 contribution presentation program to B40 UITM Kelantan branch resident presented the state manager of the YaPEIM Kelantan Administration Center to the representative of each UITM Kelantan branch division. So, from this program, there are a handful of B40 students who are left behind in this food admission. The research objective for this smart UITM food bank system is first to develop a human-centered design for the future food bank system. Second, to create an efficient system for students who need an approval from the administration to receive a proper service of smart UITM food bank system. Third, to manage data in terms of receipt, inventory management, distribution, and more. And the last one is to provide a platform that allows students to contribute food in more efficient way. The scope of this study is Food Bank UITM Machang, Kelantan. There are few regions that Food Bank UITM Machang handles. The specific location for this UITM for this food bank is the student center. It is advantage to conduct this research proposal because researchers can easily get data from the management. This research proposal can also be applied practically to the organization for improvement. Okay, the scope of user in this project consists of student, management, and also food distributors. They are needed to complete the food bank process because it involves managers, givers, and recipients of food. If one of them does not exist, Surely this food bank cannot be run. Assistance from the student representative is needed during this food distribution, as they are individuals responsible for the assisting the management with the student issues. So what is the significance of study? The finding of this research will provide valuable intuition for the future researcher, manager, or even UITM staff to recognize the factor affecting user satisfaction toward service efficiency of smart UITM food bank system. There are few variables in this research that are under efficiency. First, the design for the future system. Next, the user experience. And then the level of accountability. And the last one is the relationship among the nurse, student, and management. The study provides factors that contribute to user satisfaction. By understanding the need of service as efficiency, it can improve the user satisfaction toward UITM food bank. Furthermore, these four variables may also improve their service for user satisfaction that was found to have a significant positive effect on user satisfaction at UITM Machang Kelantan. The most important part in this project is expected outcome. The main aim of this smart UITM food bank system is to make the food aid management process more systematic using technological facilities. Among them is the use of a web application as an information platform between management, food contributors, and students. Through this system, you can check product expired date, food distribution schedule, and keep record of food distributor data. Next, a voucher system was introduced as access to get food aid. Interestingly, this project used the sensor system method to detect the level of food in stock shelf, whether it is sufficient or out of stock. Okay, next I will explain the literature review that I get from this research smart UITM food bank system. First, student e-profiling. This paper describes the system to gather students' data that could be used in the process of urban selection. Those students in the category of B40 should be highlighted to ensure that they get the proper assistance, especially in terms of monetary. The students' data could be collected and accessed without facing any difficulties. Then, a complete and adequate data profiling system could be used to obtain statistic and informative summaries on any matter related to students. Okay, the second one is Food Bank YaPEIM 2.0. Management was enabled to obtain B40 student data to distribute food directly with this manual system. So there are a handful of B40 students who are left behind this food aid mission. This news shows the YaPEIM Food Bank 2.0 contribution presentation program to B40 UATM Kelantan branch resident, presented by the state manager of the YaPEIM Kelantan Administrative Center to the representative of each UATM Kelantan branch division. It means the process of the food bank system should continue with the system so that the management can trace those students easily. Next, Yayasan Food Bank Malaysia. Yayasan Food Bank Malaysia targets zero hunger and zero waste through the halal and safe supply in Malaysia and sort and redistribute to the identified target B40 communities in higher learning institution, which is IPT. This website describes a non-profit and non-government organization, as known as NGO. Okay, then they has the role to take lead in managing and aligning the food bank initiative as part of the initiative Peduli Rakyat, mean that caring nation, by the Ministry of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs. For this project, we can contact and make an interview session about food bank as a collaboration with NGO to enhance the surplus UiTM food bank system. Furthermore, we can help them to realize their mission by feeding the right person. Okay, next is Larimer County Food Bank and Capslo Homeless Shelter. Okay, this is the food bank illustrate high segregation of cancellation between different type of user and significant prioritization to create efficient flow throughout the building. This article describes the spatial syntax of complex in the service of the needy is examined, such as topology that fall under this category include food bank. The unique relationship between user and space is explored, revealing various degrees of accessibility and choice of the movement within a building. Beside a proper system, the structure of the building also plays an important role in the production of this project, as it involve stock keeping, distribution area, and so on. Okay, next is human-centered design of a food bank smart service system. Okay, a framework of user requirement and system design incorporating visual analytic with interactive dashboard is presented. The data collected by food bank tend to be highly unstructured, and affect the food bank operations effectiveness. This article focuses on the human and system design for delivering analytic, model-based analysis and process support to food bank following human-centered design principles. Furthermore, no system allows food bank to learn the real-time inventory of the agency that may affected by factor like the amount of food they have distributed and the number of donations they receive from the other sources. So a proper food bank data management will be generated at the food bank from receiving, inventory management, distribution, and more. This is because human-centered design is a creative approach for problem solving. A design framework through analyze, design, evaluate, adapt phase was created to guide the smart system human-centered design activities. The next literature review is Feed My People Food Bank. Feed My People Food Bank cannot decide their required size of warehouse and is unsure about whether to buy, lease, or renovate their existing building to handle a growing inventory to up to the year 2018 in western central Wisconsin. This article describes the basic idea of space requirement for new warehouse building that could be used in developing a food bank for this project. UiTM's food bank system must have an overview of food storage and distribution area to make it more realistic and futuristic. The management and student affairs can manage food stock easily as it has conducive space requirement for the food bank. Okay, next is a systematic mapping of software engineering trend. This article describes software industry model, processes, and method in software education engineering that is known as SEE research to utilize the model or process and method facet. There might exist commonalities with our present finding compared to neighboring domains such as computer science and information system. However, to avoid a sterile discussion, we recommend that CS and IS domains look into similar approach to identify trend in industry and education. The most recently adopted model in industry and education is agile, commonly combined with Scrum methodology, and has same potential as system of system. The agile model is reported in most of the reviewed publication and is suitable to set up in this UITM food bank system as an early development stage. Okay, next is a qualitative study of food bank users, providers, and referrers in London. The finding of a quality study of the health and well-being challenge of food poverty and food banking and addresses the following research question. This article describes food banking and the evidence based on the health implication of food poverty by exploring the perspective of key stakeholders in the UK food banking system. It is related to the objective of the UITM food bank system that highlights students in category B40 who have financial problems. The methods used in our project are data collection in an ethnographic study, requirement and sampling, ethic and informed consent, and lastly, data analysis. Next, we move to the next literature review, which is human-centered content. Okay, human-centered design is commonly applied to solve design challenge for mobile application, website, and services. Process of applying UCD to make content more accessible and inclusive in our system. This website describes the human-centered design approach to become a successful solution and the features of the design thinking process and the human-centered design process with the content edge. Okay, the process of developing a system must empathize with the users, make sense of the research, create a plan of the content, then make a prototype and test the system. So the HCD is the most important criteria to show that the UITM food bank system can meet the user requirement and give a solution to the current system. Next is the Global Food Banking Network, quantifying the impact food bank around the world have in ameliorating food waste and promoting a more sustainable environment. GFN has estimated the number of the greenhouse gases expressed in carbon dioxide mitigate through the redirection of healthy surplus food from the landfills to the vulnerable people. This website describes the methodology of global food banking by using validated internal survey data as well as authoritative external research. This kind of method can be used in my project to collect data and information about the UITM food bank system before developing the actual system. Research and analyze the current problem and discuss the better solution to improve and upgrade the current system. Calculation not undertaken in this study, but no less important include the labor, including packaging, labeling, transportation, inspection, quality control, and storage. Okay, next is food bank. The idea of UITM food bank system has been widely linked to the management of UITM Machang, especially in category B40. Lambie Mumford explained the food bank was originally designed to be an emergency intervention, providing food in short term while recipients await support from the usual welfare. Okay, observation on the lack of the food resource as a social problem that requires social action from certain parties. Among the benefits of this food bank, as stated by the McKay and Dunn, are that the food bank refer to either a big redistributor of food supplies for charity that supply food to poor communities or a provider of grocery items. There are four categories of food bank users, namely student affairs staff, which is HEP, representative council, as known as MPP, administrator, and also food supply and charities. In conclusion, food banks are efficient in one of the resources. Their distribution according to equity of fairness and the prevention of individual freedom. So the second last is web development life cycle. Okay. Web development can be defined as the process of developing website and web application that rely on the internet. So there are 7 phases of WDLC that might follow to get a distinguished website. Process start from the research and analysis, planning and strategy, design, content creation, development, and end with the testing and quality assurance. Okay, based on the review, the yearly prototype were designed using okay. The smart system use a food bank data as a source for modeling and visual analytic solution to support decision making. In WDLC, each activity can be categorized in 3 layers, which is server side, client side, and full stack development. Okay, the last one for the literature review is shelf laser sensor. The common problem faced by the retailers is out of stock product on their shelf. Studies show that 5 until 10% of product in grocery store are either unavailable on shelf or out of stock. So, the laser sensor are one of the practical IoT in retail to measure the distance to the closest item on the shelf. There are two parts to this solution consisting of wireless battery-driven laser sensors and the mobile application. Okay, the sensor send their measurement of the stock through a wireless IoT network inside each store. At the time, the sensor used battery that had a limit of 2 years. So the mobile application should be installed so that the employee can inform the shelf need to restock during work hours. The so in this sensor chef laser, we have a few technical details involved in developing this laser sensor. Okay, now we move to the methodology of smart UITM food bank system. Okay, we have few methodology in this project. First, we use web development lifecycle called as WDLC. In WDLC, create with the design by analyzing the functional and non-functional requirement that do not adopt any idea for the guidance to achieve the main objective of the smart UITM food bank system because they are using a manual system. So the design will meet the user requirement because it can suit the criteria to solve problems that occur in this current system. Okay, next is develop the system by using the model web development lifecycle. The process of design phase include the design user interface, use case diagram, and database structure. Next, develop the system by using the model web development lifecycle. Adopt some of previous idea because it is related and need improvement to build an efficient and effective system. After that, confirm that the development meet the user requirement by following the right technique while finishing the activities in every phase to meet the deliverables. Based on the design phase, then develop the database and user interface by using software such as PHP@MyAdmin, Adobe Dreamweaver, Oracle, or XAMPP. After that, test the system by using usability testing, which means select a few people to do testing of the full system. The system will involve the administrator because they will manage this system soon. The testing is sufficient to measure the efficiency of the system after looking at the result of the testing and user feedback. Okay, next methodology is shelf level sensor. The shelf level sensor will detect when the product is out of stock by limiting sensor use each shelf. The authenticity is real world information and not a control environment suitable for food bank use. There are few functions produced by this sensor that prevent the occurrence of running out of stock in the food bank, monitor the current stock through the food bank system, and the last one is facilitate the process of food preparation. This will increase the efficiency of UiTM Machang food bank. Then it can also be said to be user friendly. There are two requirements in this project. First, hardware requirement. Hardware development methodology use a camera instead of sensor to read data from student card and Google Firebase for the web application. Google Firebase is a Google-backed application development software that enables developers to develop a web application. It is also provide tool for tracking analytic, reporting and fixing app crash, creating marketing and product experiments. For example, when students scan their student card at the scanner, after that they take away food, then the sensor will give feedback on the dashboard and store data into the system. This project is conceptualized on an element of Internet of Things with the wireless sensor network. For software requirement, a software development methodology use web development life cycle to structure, plan and control the process of developing an information system for this project. Process involved in this WDLC are pre-developed activities, analyze phase, develop phase, testing phase, integration and release phase, deployment and training phase, quality phase, advertisement phase, and evaluation phase. The web application uses an intranet web application to distribute information among the student and food provider or suppliers while making the management more effective. This type of web application is generally a system that is used on a daily basis and the user become quite experienced in the system after a while. This also has a functional to be compared within the look and feel. Okay, next we move to the preliminary study. Okay, then we go to the study setting, which is significant level. The concept of the food bank is non-profit and charitable organization that distribute food to students who have financial problem, especially category B40. The students should register the system and apply for a food bank form before getting approval from the management. Once the administrator approve the form and send them the voucher to be selected to the selected student so that the student could check and claim the voucher from the system. By using the voucher, the student will go to the food bank center and get their food from the food provider, which is the student representative council, which is MPP. Meanwhile, the administrator should keep updating the supply and product details into the system so that it is easy to make a monthly report of the food bank. For foods that are about to expired, the administrator will give notice or announcement about free food to all students. So the food provider could distribute the food to the students who are on campus, who are in campus, especially in college. Next is study design. In study design, we will discuss about method of data collection. This study employed a method approach utilizing telephone interviews and question A surveys. Two types of primary source in the data collection method are quantitative and qualitative field research. Quantitative field research is employed when measuring variable and verifying existing theories or hypotheses or questioning them. It is used the technique of open and close-ended question to determine the satisfaction of the current food bank system among the student. Meanwhile, the qualitative field research is employed when trying to understand human perception and behavior. It use technique interviewing and observation to focus on obtaining data through open-ended and conversational communication to find out the user requirement for this project. Beside that, secondary source also needed to inspire uh, primary sources and to be critical by doing research on proceeding, journal, government publication, and web page. After that, the method of data analysis. This project identifies the requirement of smart UiTM food bank system by three methods. First, interview the student affairs development. UiTM Kelantan branch Machang campus. Next, make a questionnaire survey for UiTM Machang student regarding their level satisfaction with the current food bank system. And last but not least, do research, literature review, and observation on the topic of food bank either in UiTM Machang, Malaysia or abroad. So, the interview session and questionnaire survey were made through phone call and message through the constraint during this pandemic COVID-19 to make a face-to-face interview, make a personal observation on the current food bank system, uh, uh, we also make a personal observation on the current food bank system from March until May at UiTM Machang to see the process done with them by the management. The method that will be enable the method that will enable discovery is interviewing the administrator to get directly issue and solution to this current system. Usually, they might prevent from discovering internal problems that occur throughout the food bank opening. For example, the damage and lack of the food cannot be traced due to the record. Besides that, a financial problem also can be internal problem because they cannot be told to the outsider and is confidential. Qualitative research is a kind of research method that will be best suited to the kind of research undertaken and the research question pursuing. Sort of problem to consider in setting up this method is collecting the factual information on surveys, existing data, observation, and content analysis to gather peoples throughout the experience. Their benefits are generally shown in statistics to perform theory and assumption on the related topic for this project. So we do a survey to some students at UiTM Machang and ask questions about evaluation and satisfaction to ensure they gather useful data. As you can see, this is the workflow for this smart UiTM food bank system. Start from register and end with the system update by the management. In conclusion, Food Bank UiTM Machang is a food aid platform for students who are less able in terms of food expenses. The main aim of this smart UiTM food bank system is to make the food aid management process more systematic using technological facility. The benefit of the food bank UiTM Machang are aimed at alleviating the impact of the rising cost of living and saving on food purchase expenses among students. The implementation of this program can be examined starting with the collection of certain food or product, then it will be distributed to students. The objective of the Smart UiTM Machang are develop human-centered design for the future food bank system, create an efficient system for students who need an approval from an administrator to receive a proper service of smart UATM food bank system, and then manage data in terms of receipt, inventory, management, distribution, and more. And the last one is provide a platform that allows a student to contribute food in a more efficient way. This project requires several methods to ensure it works well. Okay. So the methodology of this project use a web development lifecycle and shelf level sensor to make it reliable as a smart UATM food bank system. It can be repeated, it can adapt to rapidly changing information needed, allowing for improved foresight, planning, and intermediate action. This project also provides an opportunity to obtain information in real time for time critical decision making. That's all from me. Thank you.